Hello again, everyone. I'm David Griffin, founder of Meathead Charcoal. I'm coming to you again with another episode of our Meat Platter series, where I'm sitting down with passionate entrepreneurs across all industries to hear how they build their businesses from the ground up. We're going to talk everything, the real stuff, the growth, the setbacks, the wins, the losses, to hear how they turned a great idea into something wonderful. So if you're into a big business story, you want to start a business yourself, or just love a passionate entrepreneur journey, this is the series for you.
Just you wait to listen for the storm. Hear the difference in the wind. When dark clouds form and start to turn, I'll run again. Far away when the hurricane comes in. Well, I'm the only island in the way, but I was born to fight the wind and rain. Sometimes a man will keep himself in shame, mask a painful past he overcame. Oh yes, oh, oh yes.
Today we're in beautiful Raven County in northeast Georgia, in the town of Dillard, to sit down with local pitmaster, chef, restaurateur, Kyle Bryner. We're here at his restaurant, the Blue Hound Barbecue, and we appreciate Kyle being with us today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So we're at this restaurant here, but just tell me what you're actively involved in.
Yeah, so obviously this is my passion project. Blue Hound Barbecue is something that I've always envisioned myself doing a barbecue place. It's something that I've always loved. The craft, and to be able to bring that to my community is something that I've really looked forward to. But I've also I've been a restaurant owner for 6 years now. Apart from Blue Hound Barbecue, I own Blue Bike Cafe up in Highlands, North Carolina, and yeah, I've been in the industry as a chef. I've been in the industry as a consultant, as well as a salesperson through food distribution, and but yeah, I've got a lot of things going on, and I've got a family that I love, and a community that I love, and yeah, this is just bringing it all together here at this restaurant, and being able to serve them is what I love doing.
So you haven't always been in a restaurant owner.
True.
You started out, from what I understand, as just a family, your family history of being a chef and just a big time barbecue.
Yeah, my father was a chef, so I kind of grew up in the industry, and so ever since I can remember, 6, 7 years old, going to the restaurants with my dad on the weekends after, when I'm out of school, and making biscuits and banana pudding and those type of things in the restaurants he worked in. And I mean, just those years as a kid, work with my dad in the restaurants kind of formed my love and my passion for food and serving others. And yeah, just ever since a young age, I knew this is what I wanted to do.
So what inspired you to take that leap to go out on your own? If you were you working in other restaurants as executive chefs and things, and then also on the distribution side, what was that day for you when you said, you know what, I'm going to do this on my own?
It's a good question. There's a lot of hard work that goes into being a chef, right? And so often you find yourself feeling overworked, underpaid, underappreciated sometimes, and it's not always the case, right? When I get the opportunity to build something for myself and leave a legacy for my family, when I got that opportunity, I was hesitant at first, right? Because I mean, it's scary to take, like you said, that leap of faith and put your savings and your resources and your time and your reputation on the line, opening up something and putting yourself out there for everyone to see. But I mean, I had confidence in what I could bring to the table, and after a long time of discussion and prayer with my wife, we felt like it was the time for us to do that and step out on that ledge and take that leap of faith, and we did it, and it's been very rewarding. Ever since we opened up our first restaurant in Highlands, it's been quite the blessing.
Was there a point in that journey where you took that leap of faith? You've got your feet under you a little bit. Was there's something that you remember where you were like, okay, this is finally starting to click into place?
Yeah, so when we first opened up the Blue Bike in Highlands, it was really scary because, I cashed in my entire 401k. I'm going through, you know, all these financial, scary steps, and taking a little bit of loan out, and you just purchase all this equipment and all this this food, and then you're hiring these people to come in, and I just see my bank account going lower and lower and lower, and there was a point where I only had maybe a couple $1,000s in my bank account, and I know that I've got employees I got to pay, and I've got this food bill coming up that I got to take care of, and I didn't even think about, all right, well, I'm opening the doors tomorrow, and I'm going to start getting money coming in. But just financially, it was the scariest thing just to see that, and then know that you don't only have your family's well-being on the chopping block here, but you have other families that are counting on you to pull through and take care of them as well. And so that is scary. And then, of course, we opened up in 2019, so it was right before COVID. And so when COVID happened, of course, that's just the uncertainty of what's happening, what's gonna happen to my business. Am I gonna be able to stay open? Am I gonna be able to feed my family and my employees feed their family? It was a lot of pressure. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of doubt can creep in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as a business owner myself, I know I feel the same way. You're not only taking care of yourself and your business and your reputation in the community and things like that, but any little thing can affect the lives of your employees too.
Sure.
And as a business owner, you got to take that seriously and think about it every single day. So that was what I was going to ask next, is just what was just the biggest challenge you can remember, but it may be financial that you were talking about, because with your background, you certainly knew how to cook, but was it the business side of things that caused you more hardship?
I think so. From an operator standpoint, I felt pretty comfortable. I knew that I could execute in terms of food and service, but there wasn't a lot on the back end of things, the administrative side, making sure my taxes are getting paid right, and I have all the right permits in place, and just that inexperience on that side of the business was scary at first, and it still, I mean, to this day, it's like that's my weak point when it comes to running a restaurant. But yeah, I would say apart from that being a struggle for me, or one of the speed bumps for me, so to speak, it's just continuing to try to find that balance. As a chef, I want to do something that is very high quality, right? But at the same time, I'm trying to keep it affordable and approachable for my community, my friends, my family. I'll go to a place where I would want to eat, but you have so much pride on the line on, like, yeah, I want to put the best forward. And I feel like in barbecue, as well as breakfast and lunch, it gives me a great canvas to be able to like showcase what I want to do, while keeping things affordable, but having fun and playing with things that are of higher quality, and some just different perspectives on food. I feel like I'm rambling there, sorry.
Struggles and some of the difficulties with starting your own business, and you've talked a little bit about how the business part of it's still your weak point. So I would think a guy like you, your passion is certainly the cooking, and your focus wants to be on creating the best meal for the community and your customers. So what have you done to aid your business and yourself to be able to run the business the way it needs to, and allow you to be the creative part of the chef part? And what is it that you needed to feel the most?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, it takes a team, right? I mean, I can't do it myself. Sometimes I like to feel like I can, and I put a lot on myself and on my own back to try to be He-Man and just get it done. But I quickly realized that those are some things that I need to outsource a little bit. I need to take a step back and realize that I can't do it all by myself. So to get a team and the people in place that will allow me to focus on what I love doing and what I'm good at, and play to my strengths, and find people that are strong in the areas where I'm weak, That's been key for my success and in all my businesses. And so I'm so thankful for the staff that I have and the partners that I had in the business, and people that have got my back even when I don't know really what I'm doing in some areas.
Well, as a business owner, there's days where none of us know what we're doing. You feel like you just figured it all out, and new things arise that you've never seen before, and you just have to keep pushing forward. And how has it been going from just the chef, the pit master, the things you know how to do, then you hire a team to help you, but then you roll over and now you're a little bit in management where you've got a great team, but you're still daily having to talk to the team and manage the team. How's that been for you?
Yeah. Getting the right people in place are one thing, but them being skilled in a certain area that I'm weak in is only one part of that whole process. You got to find people that are kind of are bought into the same vision that you have for the business, or the direction you're trying to take something. So I'm so blessed and thankful to have a team that has the same goals that I do. They want to create something really special up here in the mountains with the food that we're offering, with the service that we're offering, and we're trying to make this a destination place. So you have people that are skilled in those areas, but also are bought in, and they're team players and they're 100% for it. So it makes it really easy for me to manage that because they're managing themselves almost in a sense. So here I'm above it. I'm kind of looking down and seeing what's going on, and of course I can help guide that direction. But I'm more of the vision caster at this point, and they're like, yeah, let's do it. How can we make this happen? And so yeah, the team is really finding the right people is key to making it work.
So what do you do to become a destination location? What is it that you're doing to differentiate yourself in a industry where there's a lot of competition? What are you doing to stand out?
It's part of its menu, right? So when people think of barbecue in this area, they think of pulled pork or Brunswick stew, and of course we have those items here. So there's still that familiarity that people can come and get something that they're really looking forward to eating when they think of, and when they think of barbecue. But I spent a lot of time in Texas. When I worked for U.S. Foods as a sales rep and a consultant, I did a lot of training out there. So I spent 13 weeks in Texas, just fell in love with Texas style barbecue. And I'm talking to the pit masters, and they're asking me the same thing, like, Kyle, what sets barbecue restaurants apart from other ones in the area? I'm like, I tell you, if you put brisket on the menu in Northeast Georgia, you're going to already automatically be set apart. But I think more than that, more than the menu, it's just trying to take every dish and just take them up another notch, and just try to take so much pride in that one dish and show the quality and the passion and everything in that, instead of just opening up a box and throw it in the fryer, or I don't know. We call it lazy man's barbecue, and I've seen it a lot from the sales side. People buy things that are pre-prepared, and it's why you go to a restaurant and it tastes the same in every barbecue restaurant you go to in the area. So it's like, I want to be different. I want to buy something local from the farmer down the road and have that beef that's just a little bit better. They take pride in what they're doing out there. You can taste it in the product, right? Now that I have this respect for Texas barbecue, and I try to think about what's special to our area here in the mountains, besides just barbecue, what's special to our area. And a lot of it has to do with, the Appalachian cooking, Appalachian cuisine, just mountain food, southern food, comfort food. All those things resonate with what people love in Rabun County and in the surrounding areas. And so I really wanted to try to find a way where I can take barbecue, which there's not a strong barbecue tradition up here. I mean, we're right in the area of South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia. Georgia doesn't really have a strong barbecue culture. I mean, there's a lot of history there, right? But you don't think of Georgia as being a barbecue powerhouse, where you think of Texas or the Carolinas or Tennessee. But so I'm trying to take the best from all those barbecue places and then blend those with some side dishes and flavors and dishes that are comforting and familiar and just fun, exciting, good food that you can kind of mix with barbecue and make that something special. So Appalachian barbecue is what I'm trying to offer, trying to create what that is. And a lot of it has to do with just taking great barbecue and great food that has stood the test of time in our area and putting those together and making something special with it.
Well, and that was going to be my next question is what are your biggest influences? You hit on it because Georgia, while we have great barbecue,
Sure.
just isn't known on the barbecue scene like these other states that you mentioned.
Right.
So what would you say, which one of those places that you've gone and learned from is truly your biggest influence?
That's tough, right? I mean, I love whole hog barbecue from like the Eastern Carolinas and then South Carolina along the coast. I mean, there's such strong tradition and heritage, like culture, like not heritage, but just culture there. I mean, there's a big community that is passionate about doing that in those regions. But Texas, I feel like, I mean, it's just something special about it. When I had my first slice of real brisket from a Texas smokehouse, it was life changing. Really, I mean, it was. It kind of changed my whole perspective on what barbecue is and what it could be. And then you get the sausages out there and the ribs that aren't the sickly sweet, just dripping with things, which I love a great sticky sweet rib, but there was just something about the smoke, the simplicity of the salt and pepper and just the beef and everything out there in Texas that really stood out to me.
What would you say here at the Blue Hound, the creations that you've made and brought back? What's the customer favorite these days?
Well, pulled pork is obviously my biggest seller. I mean, that's what people come for in this area is the pork. But I feel like when they eat my sausage, we make all the sausage from scratch. It's something we take pride in, and I feel like that's more of a craft item. When people finally try the sausage, they're like, "Good night. That's what I got to come back for." And I run out all the time. It's hard for me to keep up with it. So it leads to some frustration sometimes when I have to 86 sausage off my menu. But that is my favorite, and that's what I hope to have our customers learn to grow and appreciate that as well.
That's awesome. So going back to Texas, a lot of people may not know or may not know yet that you were fortunate enough to be on the BBQ Brawl on Food Network, season 6. So tell us a little bit how that came about, if you can, and what that experience was like. We certainly don't want to spoil anything, but just tell us how you ended up there.
Sure, yeah. So episode 4 just aired this past Sunday, right? And so it was a great episode, great experience so far. But I mean, the road to get onto the show was a little bit different for me. I don't like to brag on myself, right? I don't put myself out there a lot. Kind of like to stick to myself a little bit, create good food, serve others, and then if someone wants to say good things about me, I'll let them do that. But for me to put an application into Food Network and say, hey, I'm something special, I deserve to be on this show, it was out of my comfort zone. But thankfully, I've got a good marketing team and PR people that said, we're going to do this for you. We'll speak highly on you, on your behalf for you. And it was a great application process, casting process. They want to see, a lot of my story, like we're talking about right now, learning from my dad and where I come from, the region, what sets my barbecue apart. And so they want to know all those things. And then once they got to know Kyle and who he is and that he's just passionate about barbecue, they said, hey, we've got to have the mountain man. They called me the big teddy bear mountain man from Dillard, Georgia. We got to have you on the show. It's great. So it was a great experience. Very intimidating going to compete against some true heavy hitters in the industry, people that are world champion barbecuers, people that are multiple time James Beard Award nominations and semifinalists, and just legendary barbecue pitmasters and live fire cooks. And then you have some guy that nobody's ever heard of from Dillard, Georgia in the mix, and it was exciting to be part of it, and I'm excited to have everyone continue to watch and see how it goes because it's a good story and it's a good ending too. So,
well, that's awesome. Hopefully, everybody will tune into that for sure.
Absolutely.
And so, what would you say after that experience? Because that's certainly a different experience than just running some restaurants in Highlands and in Dillard, Georgia. So, now that you've done that, now that you've got your restaurants here, what are your long-term goals? Where do you want to go next?
Well, stepping out of the pit house for a little while to go do the show showed me how strong my team is here, right? And it was great for them to step up and say, don't worry, you can go out and do these things and the restaurant's not going to, catch fire and everything's going to be good. You can go do these other things. That I really enjoyed the process of being on the show. So I caught the bug, so to speak, or the itch, or whatever the word is to say that I want to keep doing it. And so there's a couple other shows on Food Network that I'm eyeballing. I'd really like to be a part of that, compete or judge, or I know Beat Bobby Flay is one of those. He's my coach right now on BBQ Brawl, but I got a lot of respect for him. But I also I want to test myself against the guy too, right? So I think I'm going to go on Beat Bobby Flay and Chopped in the near future, and yeah,
That'll be awesome.
yeah.
Well, that's certainly it's quite the journey from learning to cook with your dad, and then being some executive chefs in some fine dining places, and then work up to being your own restaurant owner, and then now being on the TV
Yeah.
on various episodes. So if you could go back now knowing what all you know and give young Kyle some advice, what would you say?
It's funny you asked that. So I've got a couple of younger Kyles at home right now, or actually here working with me in the restaurant, my sons, and my daughter as well. They love working in the restaurants with me, and they want to take over the business and make something successful on their own also one day. So I've thought a lot about this question already, but I feel like a love for the community and a commitment to just to making the best product you can, and just doing it with pride, and constantly be learning. I feel like barbecue is a craft that you're always trying to chase perfection, and I love that pursuit of trying. It's something so simple, right? Salt, pepper, smoke, and meat, but there's so much nuance in that like every day you can look at that product and say, how can I make this even better tomorrow for my customers? And so if you don't have that love for the community and that commitment to try to make a perfect dish, then I think you're just gonna to kind of be in the blend with all the other barbecue places in the area, and you're not gonna stand out. So if I was to give any piece of advice to myself, my younger Kyle, it would be just love your community and continue to pursue perfection in your craft.
But I'm curious, knowing what you know now, having been through this journey of starting restaurants, having restaurants, becoming a TV star, knowing you were a pitmaster, learning to be a chef from your dad, do you think that this was something that you were always meant to do at your core? Or is it a little bit of a product of growing up, the jobs you started taking, and seeing where you could go?
That's a good question. I haven't really thought about all that. I mean, I feel like I was definitely the cooking and being a chef and pitmaster. I feel like that's always been ingrained in me. I was meant to do it. But yeah, the whole TV thing, that came out of nowhere. I love it, but I was never expecting that to be part of what I do.
Well, you seem to be a natural at it, and in that journey, I know that you've been able to meet some very big people in the barbecue industry. So I am curious, though, if you could sit down around a grill over some meathead charcoal with a beer, is there anybody out there that Kyle wants to sit down with? Who would be the person that you would want to sit down and have a beer with for 30 minutes and just learn from?
Oh man, do they have to be alive? I would love to have my dad back. I miss him. You'll see a little bit in the show going forward. That's a huge part of my story. I lost him about 10 years ago, and but I learned so much from him. I just wish I could go back and ask him and pick his brain, and he would love that. Sit around a old fire pit with some meathead charcoal and a beer. I wasn't, I would trade the world for it. I really would. Everything is to have 30 minutes to sit down with him and talk. But I've met some other good people on the show. Rodney Scott was one that I really respect, and I think I might actually get him over here one day to sit around a fire pit with cook some whole hog with some meathead charcoal. I don't know.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be fun.
That'd be awesome.
Introduce him to some meathead.
Well, I know your dad would be certainly proud, and I know he'd be proud to see your sons get involved. And
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit before we wrap up about the other venture that your son's working on right now.
Yeah, so we just opened up Blue Hound Express, which is a little farm, like a little shack next to a farm stand, Osage Farms in Raven Gap, Georgia. And so, you can go down and check out Elijah, which his chili was just featured on BBQ Brawl. I did that to honor him on this last chili cook-off. But Elijah's a great kid, and I say he's a kid. He'll be 21 this year. He's not a kid anymore, you know. But yeah, Blue Hound Express is just doing a kind of a scaled down version of what we have here. We don't have the abilities to grill burgers or make cheesesteaks down there, but we've got the same great barbecue, same great sides down there. But they have milkshakes, which we don't have.
Milkshake.
Yeah,
That'll bring the
good
crowd.
too. They're
Yeah.
good. Yeah. So.
Well, we appreciate all your time and you taking the time to talk with Meathead Charcoal and supporting Meathead Charcoal. We certainly appreciate that. And before we wrap here, just tell everybody where to go follow you on Instagram or anything you want them to look out for.
Sure, yeah. So you can follow me at Blue Hound Barbecue, spelled out BARBECUE. I know it's hard. Like, there's so many different ways to spell barbecue, right?
Yeah.
So at Blue Hound Barbecue or at pitmaster Kyle Bryner. And yeah, I look forward to having you guys follow along for the ride on the show, as well as all the stuff that's in store for the future.
Well, thank you. And thank you all for watching along again. Be sure to follow Meathead Charcoal and look out for our next episode.